Good evening everyone, Sam here, back for a Brony UK video with a cup of tea. This is a video I felt like I should do. So in short, I watched a video by Moliminous earlier today, this morning in fact, and it was titled, "What Ended My Little Pony?" In a nutshell, it's basically talking about the fan base and the show in general, and quite a lot of people have commented on the video. The question is two things. One, has the Brony fan base started to shrink? And two, has the show of My Little Pony, has it got better or worse? Now obviously the second part of that is largely based on personal opinion. But let's talk about the fan base in general. Now, one of the things we can take into account about the fan base is BronyCon. BronyCon is a classic example. We have a quick look here into BronyCon. So when BronyCon first started, or at least the official kind of meet, it was 2011, around about probably just at the mid section I'd say of season 2. And there was 100 people there. Then over the course of a year, it doubled, it literally shot up. So by June 2012, there were 4,000 attendees at BronyCon. Then 2013 it was 8,000. Then the highest attendee rate was 2015 at 10,000. And then last year it was at 6,300. Now, so the attendees at BronyCon has fluctuated. But again, a lot of conventions are like that. A convention will fluctuate. And yes, within the Brony fan base, I doubt every single Brony fan out there is up to date with the MLP franchise. I mean, I'm up to date with all the seasons. I have the first 3 seasons on DVD. I have all of the Equestrian Girls films on DVD. However, I am not up to date on the Equestrian Girls YouTube series that's currently running. Nor am I up to date on any of the comics. And here lies the topic of conversation about the fan base. The fan base is very diverse. We have fans who make music. We have fans who write fan fictions. We have fans who do their own comics or their own videos or their own animations or whatever, and that's like any fan base. But I would agree that the Brony fan base has had, at least to an extent, its glory days around, I'd say, between 2011 and 2013. There were a lot of stuff going on in those 2 years that was the highlight of the fan base. I won't say that the fan base has declined for the worst. There is still a lot of creativity there, but it is very likely that some of the bulk core fans that started it all may well no longer be as active as they used to be. Now, on a side note, I think it's worth mentioning that, at least to my knowledge, there is, in a lot of ways, I feel like there's maybe a lack of diverse creativity, because I think at one point there was a lot of really quite incredible creativity coming out of the Brony fan base in the early years. Now, the one thing I can 100% use as an example, and John, you're probably going to see this coming, is the well-known and highly sought-after fan fiction for My Little Pony, Past Sins, written by Penstroke. Yes, I do have a physical copy of this fan fiction. It's highly sought after. I will actually do a full video about it one day, but the reason I'm using this awesome fan fiction as an example is, to my knowledge, there's barely any Brony writers out there that have been as successful as Penstroke in their writing. And though I know that Penstroke was the first Brony writer to try and get out there and publish his works, he did it with Past Sins, on a limited degree. I do know that Fallout Equestria also had some limited run on publication. Another book I would definitely mention is Full Necromancer. Even though it never had a publication, it is still a very good fan fiction. Sadly, never finished, due to, from what I understand, the author decided to move on and he never finished it. Whether or not he left the fan base, no idea. But the reason I bring up Past Sins is because, from my personal opinion, I don't think the fan base has that kind of spark anymore. There are still really great creative bronies out there. For example, Prince Whatever, a really great brony musician, is still very active on YouTube and is still making great music. But I don't think there are that many bronies out there that active in the creative side of things. Or if they are, they're hard pressed to find. You've got to know where to look. I mean, DeviantArt's a great way to find artists who are bronies. That's not difficult, but it's other stuff like, you know, fan fictions, music, people creating their own animations and whatnot. Stuff like that isn't that common. I don't think the fan base is declining. I just think for a lot of bronies, maybe they're getting a bit tired of the franchise. I mean, Gen 5 is, at the most, Gen 5 is 18 months away. If the rumours are true, Season 9 is meant to be the last season of Friendship is Magic. Personally, I don't think that is. I think it'll be Season 10. But if the rumours are true, Gen 5 starts in 18 months. It starts in 2020. Whether or not that will split the fan base, recreate the fan base, create a new fan base, we can't say for sure. But overall, the question of whether or not the Brony fan base is declining is a hard one to ask and a hard one to answer. I do know there are people on YouTube, Brony YouTubers, who have left. I do know there are some who have either left for personal reasons, or are on a break, or for at the moment have took a break out creating stuff for whatever reason. The creative side for My Little Pony will always be there, 100%. But the real question we have to ask ourselves is, in 10 years' time, will the Brony fanbase still be a thing? Because the only way for a fanbase to survive is for the current generation to keep it going, and also for a next generation to inherit it. Now, that will always be so for a franchise like Star Wars. But My Little Pony, I personally believe, has a very big chance of dying out. I think the fanbase could die out. Now, whether or not that'll be because of the show ending and then Gen 5 happening and Gen 5 not just working is possible. But it could be also out of maybe boredom or a disinterest. It's hard to say. I mean, I wouldn't say I've lost any interest in the franchise, but I will admit that I prefer the older series, the older seasons next to the newer ones. But that's like anything. Like, the first 3 seasons of My Little Pony are the seasons that got the franchise started. For a lot of people, the first 4 seasons is their My Little Pony. Then after that, it started changing. Everything has to change. It has to. It's progression. But, as I said, I think there are bronies out there that aren't as up to date as they used to be. Maybe because they're just not as interested now. And others that are still keeping going. As for the show itself, I will happily and freely admit that I personally thought Season 6 was the weakest season. I wasn't particularly happy on how they reformed the Changelings. I felt like that was a bit of a really sloppy 2-parter. Even though it was nice to see the secondary characters team up, I felt like the overall story wasn't that strong. From a personal perspective, time will tell. I think Friendship and Magic will wind down in the next year. Whether or not Season 9 is the finale, it'll probably get revealed either at SDCC this year or HasCon next year. Gen 5 could well be a whole new ball game for us. It might not be. But the real truth of the matter is, will the fan base endure? In 10 years' time, will it still be here? In 30 years' time, will it still be here? A fan base can only stand the test of time as long as its fans are willing to last. 10 years from now, Friendship is Magic could be a shadow. It could be something which very few people remember. The Brony fan base could be reduced to a handful of people online, or it could even be reduced to people who have memorabilia of it and still remember it, but no longer do anything about, no longer watch the show or go to conventions. It's a hard thing to really discuss because there are so many variables and so many options. But I don't think the fan base is going to go anywhere soon. I think it is a large fan base. It's very scattered, but it is very large. The numbers at conventions go up and down, so I wouldn't worry about it. All I can say is, if you like the show, keep watching it. If you feel like you need a break or you want to step away from the show, your choice. But through and through, I think I'm always going to be a fan. I enjoy the creative side of the Brony fan base, and we'll see what the future brings. So this has been Sam, kind of ranting and talking in a nonsense way. But thanks for listening, and please share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what other people think about the fan base. What do you think about its current state? About the current affairs of the fan base? And are you still strongly in the fan base? Are you maybe waning out of the fan base? What is your opinion on the show in its current state? What do you think about the future will be for the fan base and the show? I'd love to hear your thoughts, people. I really would. But anyway, that's enough of me yakking on. Thanks very much for listening. If you make sense of my ranty yak, whatever, thanks very much. But peace out. Have a good night, everyone.